Chelsea Football Club wants Garnacho for £40 million, and apparently Garnacho is wanting Chelsea. He's close enough and basically telling his agent to get me to Chelsea Football Club. Please don't get me started. Furthermore, Gittinson's linked to Chelsea again. We're looking at 2 English centre-halves. Hopefully we get one of them. We're going to talk about Brentford and Guehi, and Christopher Nkunku is linked with the Spurs. We're going to break all these stories down. We're going to talk about the reliability of these stories, but more importantly, we're going to talk about who suits us and whether these are the profiles that we need. Because one thing is for certain, it's not the names at Chelsea Football Club, it's the profiles. We had Joao Felix, we had Nkunku, we had names that are meant to be good players. But what we're really missing is profiles that fit Maresca's system. And if you're gonna have a manager that evolves around a specific system, give him the tools, please. But before we get started, number one, I'm on holiday and I'm still delivering you lot the content because transfer window's open, you don't wanna be fed with Chelsea news, and more importantly, I'm your favorite YouTube dietitian, and what would I be if I don't go to work? So hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel where I'm going to keep you up to date with football related stories that impact Chelsea Football Club from Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, everybody. So you'll enjoy it, trust me, just do it. Let's get started. I want to get started with this Garnacho news because the Garnacho news is the news that for me is massive, and it's news that I believe has legs. Look, a lot of people are going to say Chelsea don't need Garnacho. Whilst I agree with you, the profile is what Maresca wants. Garnacho is not a football player that I rate in particular. I don't think he's great. Even if we sign him, for me it would be a simple aspect of you need to prove to me that you're fit enough to wear the Chelsea shirt. It's not, let's give him a chance. Because I'm not going to lie to you, I'm very stubborn when it comes to the players I want to buy. So, what I want to say is, straight from the back, this story has legs. This isn't one of those stories where I believe it's nonsense. Reports are coming out that he's available for £40 million. Napoli are leading in chase. Chelsea are interested and are monitoring how this goes. Why do I believe this has legs? Because in January, we were told credibly, Chelsea were willing to go as far as pay £60 million for the player. So now think about it. If we were willing to pay 60 and he's available for 40, would we not be interested now? Of course we would be. He's homegrown, and the most important thing, he fits the profile of what these lot like to buy. They like to buy young players that will develop and will become better with time, and then you can potentially sell them on, or they just age well into the system. What else is coming out? The news is coming out from various sources that Garnacho believes he can become a superstar playing in the Premier League. Chelsea Football Club is going to give him that platform. He believes he wants to come to Chelsea to prove that he can be a global star. For me, this is pathetic because I'm sorry, I've seen enough of Garnacho to know there's nothing about him that is a global superstar. Yeah? I'm sorry, mate. I'm not interested in you coming to the Chelsea Football Club. However, there are people that rate him highly. One thing I would say about Garnacho is his ability to get into goal-scoring positions is very underrated. His ability to be at the right place at the right time, to get shots off, his directness, his tenacity, constant threat is amicable. However, end product is just non-existent. It's absolutely pathetic if you ask me. And I'm not interested in having him at Chelsea Football Club. I don't think he's better than Neto, Madueke or Sancho. So why the hell are we buying him? Then, what else has been linked? We have been linked with Gittins. Gittins is a very interesting profile. So the more research I do into Gittins, and if the choice is between Gittins and Garnacho, Gittins wins every time. Very direct winger, likes to take his man on one-on-one, slap shots with vim as if it owes him money, literally slapping that ball like it owes him money. Problem is his price tag is ridiculous. Dortmund made Champions League, meaning at this moment in time, they don't need to sell. They can literally have him develop a bit more. What the statistics are saying is everything in his game is waiting to explode. The GNA is about to explode because he gets himself into the position. He's getting the shots off. However, I don't want another project player. I want someone that's a little bit more quality now. If you look at PSG, right? I don't think the difference between Chelsea's quality and PSG's quality is different until you get to the forward line. And the reason I say this is because Marquinhos and Pacho, very good defenders. However, I actually think a fit Fofana and Levi Colwill isn't too far away from them. Yes, they've got Donnarumma, who's great. However, Donnarumma with his feet is horrible. He's like Sanchez with his feet. He's terrible with his feet. Their fullbacks, I like Reece James and Cucurella. I think we can go bar for them. The midfield, Enzo Caicedo, Lavia, Andre Santos, we are good. Cole Palmer in the 10, good. Problem is the front three. That's where we need quality, and I don't think Garnacho and Gittins are quality. I feel like you're just putting plasters over wounds that need to be absolutely stitched together, but you're not taking the time to stitch it. You're not getting a surgery. What you're doing is putting a short-term plaster on it that when you take a couple showers, next thing you know, the plaster's gone and all of a sudden you're back at square one. Stop postponing the inevitable. Go and buy Go and buy a Dembele. Go and buy somebody that's ready to explode. But it is what it is. Let me know in the comments below, Garnacho or Gittins, and if someone else, give me your recommendation. No Yamin Yamal, be realistic. The next position we're looking at is centre-half. And this is where it gets very interesting, right? Because one thing at this club that we need is a solid centre-half. Look, at the moment, I believe we've got a lot of journeymen. And when I say journeymen, I mean men that they're still on their journey to becoming world-class or becoming good or becoming feasible. You know, like just keeping it around the team. And in this situation, what have we got at Chelsea Football Club? Tosin, I think, is a squad player at best. Badiashile, way too many gaps in his game, needs to go and play football consistently to develop to become what he can be. I think he won't get the minutes at Chelsea, so it's a moot point. He needs to leave. I think for his own good, his agent and him need to be pushing. And I think it's very evident why he's attracting big clubs. Milan want him, Juventus want him, Inter want him, like Roma wants, Monaco, Marseille. We're seeing all the same big clubs linked with him. He'll have a great career when he moves on. Disasi, not good enough. We know that. Then, Trevor Chalobah. Trevor Chalobah is a good squaddie to have. He's in the same boat as Tosin. If you keep them at Chelsea, I want them to be bench options. Come in for a rare game, come in for a Carabao Cup, come in for the FA Cup. When you need them, someone gets injured for 5 games, they come in, they do a job. Overkill with them is when they play 10, 15 games. Then you start seeing the glaring mistakes in their game and how they're not ready. Levi Colwill, I think Levi Colwill had a brilliant season. I think Levi Colwill is a 21-year-old or 22-year-old centre-half. Started the season on fire, really well. Everyone started praising him. Then he went through a period where he's deteriorated a little bit. He was terrible. He was shocking for 5 or 6 games. Everyone started pretending it was all season when it wasn't. And then he really exceeded expectations and started showing everyone what he is. A very, very good defender. And now we need to give him a partner. Everyone's going to say we have Fofana. We don't have Fofana. Fofana played 15 games this year. That's not good enough. We need someone else. So, what are we being linked with? At this moment, we're being linked with 2 players. Number 1, Mark Guehi is coming out from The Guardian that we're linked to Mark Guehi and that Chelsea will explore it. As much as I like Mark Guehi and as much as he brings the intangibles, and I think he could take the step up, and I actually think he would be our best starting centre-half if he starts next to Levi Colwill, because I don't think Fofana can be counted on. I think he'll be too expensive. 70 million for Mark Guehi is too much money. I think in the long term, we're going to be looking to replace him, so I wouldn't do it. The second person we're linked with is Braithwaite. This is difficult because the reports are coming out, Chelsea want him. The reports are coming out that he wants to go, and whether it's to Chelsea or somewhere else, it's another story, but Everton will only start talking at £70 million. Let that sink in. 70 million just to come to the table. Then you need to talk add-ons. Then you need to talk other situations. Then you need to talk about agent fees. It will be expensive. English tax is real. Not only does the government tax you, evidently football players tax you too. So I don't know what is going on here, but one of the two is going to be very interesting. We've also heard murmurs about Diamonde from Sporting, but that's our relationship with Sporting. We've bought many players from there. So it's getting to the point where I think if we can't sort a deal out for Guehi or Braithwaite, they'll go for Diamonde. But I genuinely think out of the 3, Braithwaite's the one that really, really has the highest ceiling. And I would love to see at Chelsea, but it's going to be the hardest deal to get done. Let me know in the comments below out of the 3 who you would like. You've heard my personal one, and now let's get into the final story of the day. The final story of the day is regarding Christopher Nkunku. So Christopher Nkunku is in a predicament now where he needs to go somewhere and resurrect his career. This was one of the best players in the Bundesliga. This was a player that was in the top 30 of the Ballon d'Or. He joined Chelsea with so much hype. People were telling me this is a potential Ballon d'Or winner. He is creme de la creme, one of the best players out there. Exciting, great finisher, clinical. However, what's happened is injury. Few injuries, all of a sudden hasn't had consistent game time, looks not physical, and now he's been linked with anyone and everyone. And when that happens, you know what it is. You know it's to do with agents. People don't want to admit it, people will be denying it. However, it's true. It's always to do with agents. Because what have we seen? We've seen links to PSG, then those died down because they weren't realistic. Then it was links to Bayern, Arsenal, Liverpool, and now Spurs. So the links are popping up. This is his agent, in my opinion, doing the rounds, trying to gauge some interest, and most probably people are saying, you know what, we'll take him at a reasonable price. However, what is this price? Because Chelsea wanted £60 million. They said, Kvaratskhelia went for £60 million. On what planet did they think they could get £60 million for Christopher Nkunku in the form that he is in? And what's happened and made it even worse, in my opinion, is he has got worse since January. So the fee, in my opinion, has got even lower. Because now the spat has become public. Now that he wants to leave, it's even more public. Now his performances have disintegrated into absolutely a poor level. It is unbelievable how much his equity has gone down. Like, the stock is at an all-time low. Whoever gets him, in my opinion, has a project on their hand. However, if he bangs, they'll have a great player. Does he have talent? Of course he's got talent. We've seen it. Is he good enough for the Premier League? Can he play the Premier League? I doubt it. I really do. But I also always say this, and you lot know this. Sometimes the most difficult time for a player is when their confidence is low. And once that confidence resurrects, all the ability that they have within them is expressed. Look at Anthony at Betis. Went to a slower league, got his confidence back, he's scoring bangers again. Scott McTominay at Napoli. Players go, players feel wanted, and they become better. This is a life skill. Once you feel wanted, once you feel loved, you will perform better. That's why I really think Nkunku needs to go for his own good out of Chelsea. I just don't know where he's gonna go. Listen, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I'm still on holiday. I'm here till Friday. I'm gonna be back home on Friday. Everything will become as usual. But let's smash June. Support this, share this out, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Bye.